I'm Megan Oots, and we're here with Juliet Simms.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So Juliet is a musician who acquired most of her following and audience kind of really became part of the public eye after being on The Voice about 5 years ago.
God, it's like a lifetime ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I had an extensive touring career with my band Automatic Love Letter, where my fan base first started, and then The Voice kind of catapulted it to the next level.
And where are you from? Where are your hometown followers?
My roots? Well, I was born and raised in California, but we moved to Florida around 10 years old, 10, 11.
Okay.
And then lived there roughly around 16, 17, decided I wanted to move to Los Angeles and make it.
At 17?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I graduated high school when I was 16. My parents said, look, we know you want to be a musician and we want to help you, but you have to graduate high school.
Uh-huh.
So I studied for 2 summers age 14 to 16, instead of breaking for the summer, I kept studying.
Wow.
And kept going to school, and I graduated when I was 16. And my mom, after I graduated, I said, I want to go out to California, I want to just go out there and try to meet with some labels, do whatever we can.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, okay, well, let's take a trip from Florida. We'll drive across country. We'll book some cafes and stuff along the way, so you can play shows. And so we did like a little mini tour all the way to LA. And I played a few gigs in Los Angeles, and I lucked out. The owner of an indie record label was in a cafe shop when I played. And this little coffee shop in Toluca Lake called, oh God, what was it called? I live right around the corner from it now, which is full circle. But I got signed, and I started my first EP at 17, 18 years old.
So were you, before doing this, have you been taking voice lessons when you were young?
No. My teachers were the bands and the artists I listened to.
Uh-huh.
My teachers were David Bowie and Janis Joplin and Aretha Franklin, and oh my God, I miss him so much. He was such an influence on my songwriting style and even the way I sang. And so, that's where I took my knowledge from, was how did these songwriters write? How did they perform? Their aesthetic, the whole thing. That's where I found my knowledge and all of that. It wasn't until The Voice that I had a singing lesson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
How did that change your...
It was awesome. It was really great. I highly recommend it. A really good singing teacher can give you proper techniques, proper breathing techniques, warm-ups, warm-downs. I went to a guy named Ron Anderson, and he had given voice lessons to artists like Michael Jackson and Prince and Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. Like, he has done the greats. And just in 3 lessons, he expanded my range. Mm-hmm. I was able to sing lower, and I was able to sing higher after just 3 lessons with him.
Wow.
Like notes I never thought I'd ever be able to hit ever. So
that's an exciting moment.
Yeah, I'd love to do more.
Yeah.
I want to learn more, so I plan on doing more in the future.
Very cool. So you're 16 in LA.
I'm 16 right now.
Yeah.
Not
now. No. Taking it
just
back.
Keep that in your mind.
Me too.
Yeah, we're all 16.
You're so accomplished.
Thank you.
But you were. That's what's so incredible, and I want to hear more about it, because it's a lot of 16-year-olds dream of doing that, but putting it into action, graduating high school, getting out to LA, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have a dream, it's not going to land in your lap. Mm-hmm. And my parents really enforced that on me as a young kid. They were like, look, if you want something and you want to be something, you have to go for it and you have to make it happen. Mm-hmm. It's not just going to come to you. You're not going to just get signed singing at the gas station pump. It's not going to, you know what I mean? You have to put yourself out there, shove yourself in people's faces, and really go for it. And I actually recorded my first real recording when I was 12 years old. And I started writing, I started playing piano when I was 8 years old. I started actually like performing at like 3 years old.
Wow.
So I've been doing this my entire life. And it wasn't until actually MySpace when it started to like really take off. So I signed to this indie label when I was a teenager. We did an EP. I put the EP up on MySpace, and this is like right around the time it was like a big deal. Like, oh my god, MySpace. You know. So I put the EP up on MySpace, and the music director of MySpace at the time stumbled across my page, loved what she heard, featured it on the MySpace homepage for about a week. And then I started getting all of the calls from Epic Records, Island, Columbia, RCA, Interscope, and I did for about 6 to 8 months. I did the rounds. I went to every major record label, to every office of every president with my acoustic guitar, serenading fucking the whole entire industry.
Wow.
And then I ended up finding a home with Epic Records.
Very cool.
So I signed with them, and that grew into Automatic Love Letter. And, Automatic put out a bunch of records. We toured a lot, and it was really hard. You know, there's a lot of politics that I don't think people know about behind the scenes.
On tour, yeah.
Well, not just on tour, but in the, having to do with contracts and what's in your contract. Do you have tour support? Do you have marketing money? There's all these things that I know now and I didn't know then. And it's like you do have to make mistakes to learn from them and grow from them. And I made my fair share.
Can you tell us your biggest mistake? Maybe?
Well, I wish I had been more knowledgeable about the industry. I was very knowledgeable about songwriting and music and recording and performing, but I never studied or leared about the business side, and I should have.
Once you were learning, did it scare you? Were you at all like...
Yeah, I didn't want to. I was young. Yeah. I didn't want to fucking deal with that. Sorry, can I cuss? I'm so sorry. Okay, cool. It's the internet. Take your top off. No, just kidding. Just kidding. So I really didn't want to learn anything about that. I didn't want to know about it. I wanted other people to take care of it for me, and you should never ever do that. You should always, like now, I have my finger on everything that's going on in my career. I read every contract. Every time my business managers pay somebody, I need to know what it's for. Like I am so anal now because of the money I've lost and the money I've had to pay back, and the excruciating tour circumstances I was put in. With Automatic Love Letter, we toured for years. We started off in our cars, like 3 of us, 3 cars, full of our equipment, like squished up, like driving to some city to play. Then we finally got a van. Toured in that for 6 years. You sleep in the van too. You're lucky if you get a motel, because we didn't have tour support, and I didn't think to be like, no, if you want to sign me, you have to give me tour support. I didn't know that, and so that was brutal. And so this goes on for years and years, and it was grueling. And I finally was just like, I'm fucking so fed up with this. This is just so much like, when is it gonna happen? And it's hard to keep your head up. It's hard to stay motivated and to keep inspiring yourself. I can honestly say, if it wasn't for my fans being like, please don't stop, please don't quit, oh my god, please, your music, I would have probably, if I didn't have that, I would have been like, I'm gonna go feed starving children, I'm gonna go do something else. I'm not happy. This isn't making me happy. So thankfully they were there for me, and they kept me going, and then The Voice landed in my lap in 2011. Wow. I was approached by the people who cast the contestants on the show, and they said that they were a huge fan of my band and my voice, and invited me to a closed call audition. So like not the casting call where you go and...
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just went in to one of their offices in Los Angeles. And this is after Warped Tour 2011.
Was I there?
Possibly.
I may have been there.
Which Warped Tours have you gone to? I probably played it.
I went to one, but it was probably 2011.
I was on that one. Yeah. I've played Warped Tour many, many times. So, yeah, so I just went in and did my audition, and they loved it. And I wasn't fully in. Like, I was still like, no, I'm the type of artist that wants to earn her way and earn her stripes and really make it for real, and the way that my idols and heroes made it, not because of a television show. That was such a battle for me. Was like, am I sacrificing my integrity as an artist by doing this? Am I? But I was like, but also, you've been trying for so long, and it's really fucking hard, and maybe this is the way that you're going to do it. So I was just like, back and forth, back and forth. So first audition, nailed it. They wanted me back for a second audition for the producers. Came in and sang for them. They loved it. They asked me to be on the blind auditions. They were like, hey, you're going to be on the blind auditions. And I was like, am I though? Am I though? I don't know. I don't know what I'm like. The whole time, I didn't actually commit to it until I was walking out on stage. And I was like, oh, there's no turning back now. This is really happening. If you leave, you're a fucking asshole. You can't, So I just went out and I was like, just give it your all. And who cares if it doesn't work out? And then it did.
Wow. So, do you think, did the Voice obviously gave you like a more, a larger audience? And more, so what was it like performing for the first time in like kind of a different setting? You know, I know you said you had already been, touring and you had these like fans that you had built up for so many years. And then having all these new fans all of a sudden, like what was that like?
Well, I definitely had a leg up in the competition because I had been touring for so long, and I had performed over 10,000 hours. Like when you do something for 10,000 hours, you're pro at it, you're an expert at it, and I had done that, and so I had that under my belt. The thing that I didn't really have was performing completely alone on a stage. Like, I had done a few acoustic tours where I was by myself, but I always had one other person, and you're sitting, and it's just for like 150, 300 people. It's like not that much pressure. This was like, no, you're on a stage. You have people you've looked up to your whole life watching you. You have an audience full of people, just so many people in the Voice auditorium, and then the rest of the world. And so it's like, that's so not anything. That was new. The performing wasn't new, but that was new. And so that was a kind of pressure that I felt. You have so many people looking at you and so much energy coming your way. You can literally feel that kind of energy.
Did you feel any, what energy did the camera add? Did it like propel you, or did it stop the momentum?
Well, there was a moment. There was a moment when I was singing for the first time live, because the blind auditions are pre-taped. Those aren't live. So the first time I performed live, I sang Roxanne. And I was standing there and the song started, and I felt myself trembling. And I felt the pressure of what was going on, and the whole world watching. The camera's on me, and I'm thinking, you can't mess up. It's on camera. Everybody's watching. And there was a moment where I forgot the words. There was a split second where I forgot the words, and I thought to myself, this is your moment right now. And the word came back to me, and I just kind of made it my own, and all the words came rushing back. Because if you watch it, there's a moment where you're like, she's not gonna slow. She said it. That moment right there, I was like, don't mess up, and it all came back. And I rose to the occasion, and so I think I thrived under the pressure.
That extra pressure can really
force
you to be
there's no fucking up, because if you do, that's it. Don't. So fragile. So and then the show was great. I definitely have a huge thanks to the show for helping me break out of my shell of being in a band and being a solo artist, and exposing me to like such a bigger audience, and for a minute there making me a household name. And the show really helped me, no pun intended, find my voice. My voice. And Because, in the Automatic Love Letter days, I did sound like me, but I was still finding out who I was. I was so young when I was thrust into the music industry, and you have all these influences coming at you, and as a young girl, you're very impressionable. People can persuade you, and people can tell you what to do, and you're like, oh, you're an adult, and you're at the top of the Sony building, so sure, whatever you say.
Do you feel like you had people telling you, like, oh, you should be like this,
or
we need to change your sound like this, or
100, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if I told you the things that I was told.
And was it all over the place, or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they want you to look a certain way, they want you to have your hair a certain way, these are the songs that you... I lucked out, though, with one thing that not a lot of artists can say they lucked out with. I had the best A&R on the planet. Her name was Allison Hagendorf, and she was my A&R at Epic Records. This woman, she now runs the rock department at Spotify. She runs the,
oh, cool.
She's one of my best friends, dearest friends to this day. We text and talk all the time, and I lucked out because she was such a fan. I remember playing for them for the first time, and she's sitting in the office, and she's literally going... and I was like, oh, this chick likes me.
Yeah.
And she later became my A&R and for 5 years, and really had my back. So I had a cheerleader at the label. And not a lot of people can say that about their A&Rs because it's very business. But she was emotionally connected. So that went a long way for me. But yeah, there was a lot of influence, and there was a lot of being told what you should sound like, what you should do with your voice, what you should do, all this stuff, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you get to the point down the line where you're like, who am I anymore?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? What the fuck is going on? And so that's where I kind of fell into darker days, and a little bit of a trap.
Yeah. So, other than the business connections that you made, as far as the artists on The Voice, who did you love singing with and working with or learning from, or I don't know, I assume that you're backstage all messing around.
I mean, as far as contestants?
Yeah, or anybody. Yeah.
I mean, it was a dream to get singing tips from Christina Aguilera, even though she wasn't my coach. And CeeLo, I mean, he's got such a phenomenal voice, and he's an incredible artist, and so having him kind of mentor me, and then he actually managed me post-voice for about a year and a half. So that's amazing. That's, it's,
right.
You can't put a price tag on that. And even Adam Levine, I loved Maroon 5 when I was growing up. Loved. So it was all very surreal, but it felt right. It felt like I had climbed up the stairs, and it was the next step.
Yeah.
And so it was awesome, and there were some really great singers on my season. There were some really great artists, and I hope that they're continuing on. And it was a full year of my life. So
who would you collaborate with now if you could choose
any artist? Or
alive, any artist
alive.
That's alive.
Because I was gonna be
realistic goals,
Realistic? Okay, well, there's realistic goals, and then there's just people that are alive, and then I can just choose. So
let's do both.
Okay, fine. Okay, if I could choose anybody to collaborate with, it would either be Paul McCartney or
I'm thinking of your voice inside my
head.
I'm trying to.
I know Paul McCartney.
Cool.
Paul McCartney, or I would say Dave Grohl.
Who?
Dave Grohl.
Dave.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
And Nirvana.
He was the drummer for Nirvana, and then he had a band called Foo Fighters.
I know Foo Fighters. I just don't know the names.
That's okay.
But
cool. I'll name another one that you might know. Debbie Harry.
Oh yeah. Are you Blondie?
Blondie.
Let's not play this game.
No. All right.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Stop. Oh my god.
But I love all of what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Should I share this, by the way, to my Facebook?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's all good because we're live. You're live. We're doing
I have
socials.
to find the Popdust thing. Oh, here we go. I'm really bad with Facebook.
What I was gonna say is like we can't, because it's daytime, we can't really do the full songs, but maybe give it a little acapella just to give us a little.
You want to hear me sing?
Yeah.
You can buy a ticket to a show.
I understand. Listen.
Juliet
It's like
Simms,
it's like okay, here we go, and then the plug.
I'm really not an asshole.
No, we'll totally.
But I played one on TV.
But I play an asshole on TV. No, I played a meek little. I look back at the voice and I'm like, speak up. I was pretty intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
That show was intimidating, but then,
It's a lot to be put on national television and expected. I can't imagine. I commend anybody for even taking that first step and let alone making it as far as you did. So what are you up to now? If we were to, as far as your tour and your plans for where you want to go.
Right. Well, the last few years, I put out some EPs and music videos, and I did last year. I did the Punk Goes Pop single with my husband.
Okay.
We covered Adele's When We Were Young, and we put out a video for that as well. And then he was on Warped Tour, and I came on Warped, and I did these classes called TEI classes, which is like basically your fans come and hang out with you for an hour, and you let them pick your brain, and you get to decide what the subject is, but you get to kind of pay it forward, and and I wish I had something like that so bad growing up. I probably wouldn't have made as many mistakes. So that was really awesome, and I sang every day, and so that was so much fun to get to tour with my husband that way. And I just put out a new single called Take Me that just came out on everywhere, pretty much anywhere you can stream anything. And the video comes out tomorrow. Vivo is premiering it. And I've been in the studio with John Feldman, who's a pretty incredible producer. And we've gotten 3 songs done so far. So my plan is to make a record in the next few months and then get that all ready and go on tour. That's what I want to do.
Wow. So do you mean put out a record or make one from scratch? Like, I know you already have a few songs,
right,
but I don't know how the process works.
So there's no, it's not like the old days where you would go into a studio for a year or two and write 100 songs, It's more now. It's more relaxed, and you go into the studio and you write and you record the song, and then right now John's on tour, so we'd had to take a break, and he'll come back and we'll go in the studio and we'll write more, and we'll just write as much as we can in the time we're allotted, and then you pick the best ones and polish them and make them ready to put out for your ears.
That sounds fun. I'm quitting my job at Popdust and becoming a
Do you want to
rock star.
Well, you gotta first find out who Blondie is and April.
Oh shit.
I'm just kidding. This is water, by the way.
The grapes.
I just want to let all the children watching know this is agua. I'm not drinking wine. I don't drink. I don't. Yeah.
I don't either. It works.
Awesome. So, what else would you like?
Do you think alcohol has an effect on your voice?
Oh my god, it destroys the crap out of your voice. Alcohol and cigarettes, which is why me and my husband quit both. We were like a pack a day smokers too.
Ooh.
And we completely quit. Yeah. We haven't smoked in 6 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we haven't drank in a couple years. And it's been amazing. My voice, I'm so mad at myself because I smoked pretty much from like my teenage years all the way up until 6 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And my voice is a whole new monster. And I know this is, my vocals on Take Me are great, and I worked really, really hard on them. I mean, so hard to the point where we recorded the whole song, and I listened to it, and I was like, I fucking hate my vocals. No, we're re-singing the entire song. I don't care how long it takes. So we re-sang them, and I'm very happy with them. However, I was a smoker then.
Mm.
With, you know, singing the song now, not having smoked, I'm like, ugh, all right, well, the next record's gonna get the non-smoking vocal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it easier for you to sing, like, live? Like, do you find...
Yes, you have more stamina, you can hold notes longer, you're not running out of breath, you can take 3 steps and not feel like you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the good things that come with not smoking.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I have to say it's like a change from like, you know, the old movie stars and cigarettes, you know, like, man, I'm such a hard rocker, but like, listen, can we eat some kale?
Yeah, I know.
You know, maybe go
I
for
know,
a
like,
run.
can I have a block of tofu? Do you have a steamer I can stick in my face?
Oh my god, it's so good for the pores.
Oh, it is good for the pores, but it opens up your lungs. See, that's another thing, is singers think, oh, if I just have a shot of whiskey and have a hot toddy, which is hot whiskey, basically with honey, it'll open up your throat. No, just stick a steamer in your face. It's so much better. Opens up your throat and everything. What whiskey or whatever alcohol does to it robs and depletes your body of all vitamins and all hydration. And then you're going and singing on stage, being completely water depleted and all the vitamins being sucked out of your body is so stupid.
Yeah, well...
So when you become a big rock star, don't
smoke.
drink and don't smoke before you can stage.
Yeah.
Moral of the story.
Advice from Juliet Simms.
Well, listen, would you like to leave us with any parting wisdom? Because, you know, you have such a wealth of information. My God, I wish we had a couple hours, you know.
Thank you.
But, you know, really, you know, you have a video that just came out, correct? Or is it
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
It's coming out tomorrow.
Can you just give us a little front on what that is before we say
Absolutely.
goodbye?
No, absolutely. So the video is for my song "Take Me," and I wrote the song inspired by. I write all my songs inspired by my life and real things that I've experienced. I don't know how to write if it's made up. I can't. That's not where I pull my inspiration from. I find that music is very magical, and when you're writing it, it's coming from a place of honesty and truth, and that's where whatever you're writing onto the paper works and is believable. So I wrote this song inspired by a time in my life a few years back that was not so easy, and I went through some really dark stuff that I haven't really exposed yet to my fan base in depth. Maybe one day I'm like Barbara Walters or something. But, you know, I've been very lucky to get to put out music, and it's my therapy and it's my outlet, and I've written about heartbreak and love and life struggles and depression and all the stuff that we as humans experience. The one thing that I haven't had the chance to write about was the kind of bond and connection and love you have with somebody that you are spending the rest of your life with. I'm recently married, and I've married my soulmate, literally my missing piece, and that is something I never experienced before. I thought that I had experienced that, and I had experienced heartbreak, but this is a whole other beast. And there was a moment in our relationship where I was like, oh my God, like if this didn't work out, I literally think that I would not be able to go on. I think I would die. Just my heart would just explode, and I just couldn't take that because of some stuff that we went through. And so the song is not as it's not a shallow song. It's not, you know, take me. Go sleep with each other, although that would be nice. It's about saving me. Saving me from myself and saving me from what could potentially happen, and never letting go. And I'm so lucky to say that the bond and the indestructible connection I have with my husband is there, and I don't have to die. So you know, so that's what the song is written about, and the music video, I hope, portrays that. You know, I tried to, when I wrote the treatment and everything with the director, that's what I wanted to convey. So I hope it comes across.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So just just if you want to say goodbye, say.
Yeah.
I would just we want to have a little Popdust goodbye. Say.
I like the snapping.
I don't know.
Should
That's
we
just what
dance?
I'm doing today.
Oh.
It could change tomorrow.
No,
we never know.
Just maybe pointing.
Yes, but I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're gonna be checking out that new video. We'll post it on our Facebook and Instagram. So
awesome.
Cool. And if people want to follow you.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm the Juliet Simms. That's it. The Juliet Simms. There's a lot of fake ones. I appreciate you fake ones, but the Juliet Simms is the right one. I'm on Twitter, Juliet Simms ALL. Facebook is just facebook.com/Juliet Simms. I'm on Snapchat. I'm on the YouTube. My Vivo YouTube Juliet Simms page is what will be premiering the music video tomorrow. So be sure to head over to Vivo to check out the new video.
Sure, and we'll definitely be sharing it with you guys. Yay!
all right, thanks guys.
Thank you.